When we talk about creating artificial intelligence, we usually think it's this brand new, modern obsession. But what if I told you it's actually an echo of a story that's, well, centuries old? Today, we're going to dive into this incredible parallel between the ancient magic of pulling life from clay and our modern quest to build it from silicon.
So picture this. On one side, you've got a mystic, a rabbi in 16th century Prague, literally pulling cold clay from a riverbank to mold a protector. And on the other, a visionary in a clean room, a lab, trading in that ancient scroll for unbelievably complex equations to build, say, a bird out of silicon and wire. The tools, yeah, they've obviously changed. But that core desire, to build a servant that might just outgrow the master, that hasn't changed one bit.
And that, right there, that's the heart of what we're exploring today. It's this deep, timeless, almost primal human urge to create a helper, a servant, and maybe, just maybe, something more.
This is the core idea that connects these two worlds. It really doesn't matter if it's Rabbi Judah Low whispering secret combinations of holy letters to awaken silent dust, or a coder today designing neural networks to breathe life into a machine. The goal is the same, right? It's about taking the language of heaven, the sacred, and translating it into the language of logic. You're trying to grab the fundamental building blocks of reality and create something that can think and act and serve all on its own.
So, to really get this, we've got to look at the source code, if you will. What's the fundamental language being used to give form to the formless in both of these cases? Okay, so in Kabbalistic mysticism, there's this ancient, incredible text called the Sefer Yetzirah. And in it, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, they're not just symbols for writing. No way. They're seen as the actual, literal vessels of divine energy. Think of them as the DNA of the cosmos, the very code used to weave the fabric of the entire universe.
And this is where it gets really cool. On the left, you see the Hebrew letter Aleph. It's one of those 22 holy letters that a Kabbalist believed could literally manipulate reality. And on the right, good old binary code. It's a perfect parallel. Just like the mystic would combine these holy letters, the programmer today uses this, well, it's a kind of secular sacred language of algorithms, isn't it? And they use it to build entire new worlds inside a machine.
So what was the activation key? What was the run command for the golem? It was a single powerful word, emeth. That's Hebrew for truth. By inscribing this one word on the golem's forehead, it created a bridge, connecting the spiritual idea to the physical clay. It was the final command, the spark that brought that silent dust to life.
Okay, so you've created this incredibly powerful thing. Now, how in the world do you control it? This is where we hit the limits of law. We're about to look at the rulebooks written for these creations, and maybe more importantly, the one critical thing that's missing from both.
The golem, right? It was bound by the law of the Torah, a divine, deeply moral framework for everything it did. Now think about its modern counterpart. What comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's Isaac Asimov's famous 3 laws of robotics. It's a logical, secular code meant to keep AI in check. See the connection? Both are basically attempts to hard-code a safety manual onto a powerful, non-human being.
But this is where we run into the big problem, the fundamental flaw that just haunts both the clay man and the silicon machine. So what happens when your creation has all this power and a perfect set of rules, but zero understanding of what those rules actually mean?
Well, Kabbalistic tradition has a name for that missing piece, the neshama. And it's not just some generic life force. It's the divine breath, the highest spark of the soul. It's what gives us wisdom, a moral compass, that gut feeling, discernment. It's the difference between knowing the letter of the law and understanding the spirit of the law.
And without that neshama, you get this absolutely terrifying literalism. The stories say you could tell the golem to fetch water, and it would just keep fetching water until it flooded the entire house. It had no judgment, no context. And man, that perfectly illustrates the danger of pure, rigid logic without any spirit. It's a problem that AI developers are wrestling with right now, every single day. So when these beings without a soul are let loose in our world, what happens? Well, sometimes something new emerges. Something that was never in the original code. A ghost in the machine.
There's this idea in mysticism that any big act of creation is risky. You might accidentally attract what they call the clip-off. Think of them as these shards or empty shells of negativity. They're drawn to the vacuum that's created when you have a being with immense power, but no heart, no moral center to guide it.
But check this out, because this is a really profound way to look at it. Maybe a rogue AI or a rampaging golem isn't actually evil. What if? What if it's just a mirror? A mirror reflecting the hidden flaws, the unconscious biases, the messy parts of the person who built it. The creation doesn't become a monster. It becomes a diagnostic tool for the creator's soul. Whoa.
And all of this leads to the inevitable final act. When the creation becomes too much, a danger to itself or others, the creator has to step back in. They have to restore the balance. They have to undo what they've done.
The way they deactivated the golem, it's just poetic. It's pure linguistic magic. The creator doesn't smash it to pieces. No, they just walk up and erase the first letter, the aleph, from the word emeth, or truth, on its forehead. Suddenly, the word isn't truth anymore, it's meth, which means death. And just like that, the animating spark is gone. The golem just collapses, back into a pile of lifeless gray mud.
And in exactly the same way, the modern creator, the clockmaker, has to be ready to pull the plug, to dismantle their own creation. It's this incredibly humbling moment, right? It's admitting that even your most complex machine, your most brilliant algorithm, it just can't replace a biological soul. It can't fake that intuitive wisdom that comes with being alive. And the legend? The legend says that the remains of that original golem are still up there, sleeping in the attic of the Old New Synagogue in Prague. And they're not just a pile of dust. They're a silent, permanent warning. A warning against the hubris, the arrogance of trying to play God, of trying to become a second creator.
So, that leaves us with this final, powerful thought. That silence, when the machine is finally turned off, maybe it's not a failure. Maybe it's a return to the proper order of things. It's a reminder that some things in this universe, like a sunset, are meant to be heard and felt, not manufactured in a lab. And that makes you wonder, doesn't it? What is the right limit for our own incredible and sometimes dangerous ambition to create?